Ruben, we're gonna do fast five real quick. Top of the dome. I know you can spit a little bit, so you throw some random questions out there. Give me 5 answers as fast as you can. Give me top 5 NFL players growing up.
Ray Lewis for sure. Ed Reed. Ed Reed. Tom Brady. Let's go Levante David. Levante David. Damn. Hold on. Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush.
Solid. All right, last one. Give me top 5 brands you like to rock.
Under Armour for sure. Gotta go Under Armour. Nike.
What you got in your ears?
Oh, Apple. Okay, like Apple. Zara. I go Zara. I'll just say Zara. H&M, like H&M brand school.
Solid. Yeah. That's fast 5 real quick. Ruben knows what is going on. We're back at the Axe Sports Podcast with your host, Brandon Bell here, alongside with one of our athletes again, second time you're on the pod, Ruben Hyppolite, Maryland linebacker. Yes, sir. Podcaster of his own. We'll get to that in a little bit. But how you doing, brother? Coming off a big bowl game, started the off season. How you doing?
All is well. Appreciate you for having me on here. Excited to chop it up for the next 40 minutes. So good.
Ben, where you at right now? You on campus? You back home? What is it looking like?
Yeah. I'm back home right now. Off season started for us, so I'm just down here training. At home with family. Staying out the way. So
yeah, I hear that. Family is always good. Staying out the way is always good. And then perfecting your craft, man. You say you're training down there. And where's down there?
Yeah, so South Florida is home for me. For a lot of the area, born and raised. Training at Test Football Academy with Kevin Dunn. Great guy. He has a great staff, and we got great players that I'm training with this year coming out in the draft. So it's been love. It's been a blessing being around those guys, and just getting better with them. Since I've been down here, it's just been good work.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Test. As you said, you're training. You're not necessarily training for the combine, but you're working with those guys training for combine. But you yourself coming back for another year, man. That's big time. Kind of more on your plate. I know you put more on your plate. So what are you looking forward to coming back for your fifth year?
Yeah, just looking forward to making another statement. I feel like I did a great job this year of solidifying myself and making the plays that I needed to make to put my name on the map and really establish who I am as a player and as a person. I think just coming back for this 5th year. There's still more that I want to prove personally, and that I want to continue to put out there. So that was just my thought process behind it. So I'm just looking forward to doing it all over again, and doing it at a higher level than I did this past season. Grateful to have the opportunity to do so.
Yes, sir. I know you will. And as you know, playing ball for a long time. Every season, every locker room is different, no matter what. Nowadays, obviously, transfer portal kind of got a whole new squad coming in. In my opinion, like I said, I'm out of it. I don't know, but is that harder to kind of galvanize a team when there's like different faces at a faster rate, more so than ever right now?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. With this new landscape, transfer portal, things like that. There's a lot of people transferring in and out of schools for their particular reasons. But I think we do a great job. Just our program and Maryland as a whole does a great job of setting the record straight from the get-go. Like our standard is our standard, and how we do things is the way it goes. And the people who don't follow those things, they'll end up weeding themselves out and won't even fit into our culture. But the people who buy in, those are the ones who have success. And I feel like we showcased that last year as far as buy-in. Just being able to compete with any team in the country. Even though at times we didn't complete the mission, but I feel like that mindset, that mentality of playing to our standard and holding each other accountable. We really preach that last season, it showed when we needed to show up. So
Most definitely. And I think, like you said, competing against, anyone in the country, you touched on it. That's why I love the transfer portal, because you can see it's even in the playing field a little bit, every
yeah,
year as we go, because guys are making a difference on different squads. We touched on coming off that bowl game. You guys went down there and handled the SEC opponent, Auburn, which is a big dub,
yeah,
big dub. I don't care what anybody says, because SEC gets all the talk. I mean, you from down there, so you know how that
yeah,
goes. What was that game like? It seemed like you guys were flying around, having fun. You especially. Anything
yeah.
in particular?
Yeah, so just the preparation for that whole game, that entire game, just leading up after we finished playing Rutgers, taking a chill pill a little bit as a team because that was the last game of the year. Then we had a couple of days off, and then got right back to work with the 7-on-7s and just OTA style type
Yeah.
movement, just moving around, staying warm. Then we found out who we were playing, and it was excitement throughout the whole building because we knew the opportunity, we knew what was at stake, and we knew a lot of odds were going to be on us as a program. So we just took that opportunity and ran with it. And obviously, for those who watched the game, saw the outcome of it, but we didn't just show up there and just be Auburn 31-13.
Right.
It was more so a process, and we really locked in as far as the fundamentals and just the mindset and mentality going into the game. No one gave us a chance, and we experienced that every single game we played damn near. So just being able to have the opportunity and then capitalize on the opportunity, it just goes to show the work we put in this whole season, and our mindset and just playing to our standard and how doing that will take care of it. When we do that, everything will take care of itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know you talked about, the pro mindset and the mentality going into that game, but down there in Nashville for a bowl game, still a college
Yeah,
kid, Music City Bowl. What was it like down there?
yeah. Nashville's actually a great city for a lot of us, including myself. It was our first time actually in Nashville,
Okay.
so it was just great to see the city. Everyone down there very welcoming. Southern hospitality is real down there. They got good food. Downtown is nice. It's a lot to do down there.
Yeah.
So, me personally, the only time I went out was when we had like our team events because how I get. We have a game. I'm locked in on the game,
Right, right.
or like I'm in a hotel room, playing a video game with like my teammate or something like that. So,
Right.
I really wasn't outside that much. Only when we had team events, but I did get to see the city a little bit. Unwind a little bit, and it was cool. It was cool.
Nice, nice. And kind of pivoting back to the transfer portal and things like that, your guy, big QB change in the building. Obviously, QB is the premier position in football, any level. Talia said he was moving on. And I'm not looking for you to, dive into his decision or anything like that, but kind of back to what the Terps of 2024, what you're hoping to see, planning to help build. What can you say about the Terps coming out in 2024 season with new leader of the offense at the helm?
Yeah, well, just touching on Talia, that's like my brother. Him and I are very close. I was just with him at the Dolphins game, I think a week ago or whenever they were playing
Okay.
the Bills. So I was with him with his family. So we're
Y'all
very
didn't go
close,
to
man.
the Kansas City Freezer Bowl game?
No, of course not. Yeah, of course not. But yeah, we're really close, man. Ever since we actually came in together, he transferred in the same year that I enrolled in Maryland. And we built our relationship up to that point. Very down to earth, humble kid, family oriented. But he had a decision to make. He gave all he could give to our program, and we're forever grateful for that. He laid it on the line every single day with his work ethic, with his leadership, his stats, obviously, and then just him being an individual, that he is. He definitely, left a positive impact on the culture of our team and on the program. So, him making his decision to transfer, it's tough, obviously, because
Right.
you don't like, as a player, you don't like losing, other brothers that you build close relationships with. But at the end of the day, he has to do what's best for him and his family. And, him and I talked about it. And him and I are still on good terms. That's all I care about. How to keep our relationship, moving forward. And he got my back, I got his. So that's that. And then leading up to 24, the 2024 season for us, I feel like we previewed that very well with the bowl game that we played in. Just touching back on that, even though we didn't have Leah at quarterback, we still were able to keep the offense moving, keep the offense going with Billy, Cam Edge. So, we have guys, that are coming in as well. We got NJ Morris from NC State, who's enrolled now. So we're going to have a good quarterback competition going into, next season. It's going to be exciting to watch and excited to compete, against those guys in practice. Like I said, Billy and I, just like me and Leah, me and Billy, very close, tight knit. That's my guy. We actually talked about performing like that ever since he came and transferred in here. So this is a lot of relationships that I built with those guys. Being a linebacker, them being a quarterback, I pick their brain every day. I'm just, the work speaks for itself. They put the work in, I put the work in, and we just mesh well off that. So I think we're going to be in good hands.
Most definitely, and Talia definitely did that. I mean, I feel like it's not spoken about enough, but obviously, surpassing Curtis Painter for the all-time leader in passing yards in the Big Ten is no small feat. That's big time for him, and I hope he, carries that confidence into wherever he goes and into the next level. And I'm sure that's his aspiration as well. So, shout out to him, your guy. Looking forward to, seeing his career develop. Appreciate him too, and you and him, man. Took pictures, my nephews, when we came down there to the game, and that stuff like that is what I take to heart. And I know he's a good guy, even just meeting him, hearing how you speak about him. So best of luck to him as well. And I kind of want to touch on, because I know you're a mature young athlete. We talked about it just now with him and then you yourself, but the mental of you young men athletes, playing the game, whether it's transferring or just going through the game and losses and wins and injuries. Now that I'm on the other side and I'm more of a fan, I pay attention more to what the fans and how people are reacting to you guys. And I'm like, come on, these dudes are 19, 18, 20-year-olds. Can you speak on like what it truly takes to build that mental fortitude to be able to be, honestly, a college football player? You guys get all the slack. No one really cares anything else besides about the dubs. Talk to us about what it means to go through that.
So me personally, I love it. I like, hearing all the, crap being talked about, whether it's me or just our team, because, people on the outside don't really understand what we go through on a day-to-day. It's a daily process, man. And I think people fail to realize that we're not perfect. Like, everything's not going to go our way, just because, we play football at Maryland or just we play football in general. Like, we're not going to make every single play that comes our way. We want to, but that's just not. It doesn't happen. Like, we're not perfect individuals. And I've came to grips with that. Just over my career, being an athlete in general, that I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not going to make all the plays that I need to make or I want to make. No matter how much I study, whatever anticipation, no matter like sometimes it's just not going to go your way. I came to grips with that as an athlete. Obviously I want to perform at the highest level, and obviously we're not, won't settle for anything less than that. But things happen. So I think just as an athlete, just building that mental fortitude to just trust your training. I'll say that's the biggest thing that I've learned over my career. If you prepare the right way, you're going to perform the right way. Like I said, you probably won't make every single play that you want to make, but you're going to make the play when it's most needed, most important. Just speaking from a football aspect, because, I know the formation. I've studied the formation. I know the plays. I studied the playbook. Like, I understand what's going to happen when, it's 2nd and 5 and they're at the minus 35. I understand what they're going to run in this situation, because I prepared for it. So I would just say building that mental fortitude as an athlete starts with preparation. You got to put the work in, put the time in. You can't just, wake up on a Saturday and go on the field and be like, all right, I know my playbook, so I'm going to just play within you got to understand the scheme that's going against you in that play. so you can be at your best. So I think that's just the most important thing. And I think it's simple. If you don't want to get talked about, by the fans, just prepare the right way and make the play.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's what
But
we sign up for,
yeah,
man. A lot of people don't
right.
get that.
Right.
We're higher, stronger individuals than most. So, and
Right.
I've heard you say that too. Rely on your training, fall back on your training. And
Mm-hmm.
the rap bar I love is, or the more you bleed in training, the less you sweat in combat. It's true, man. It's true. It's true. A lot of people can't handle what the athletes go through, and it's a shame that the young athletes have to go through it. But and even at the high school level now, because high school ball is getting more serious with the NIL, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously kids trying to make it D1, make it big.
I came in the year before it got us. I think the 2021 season is when it
Okay,
got, like when it came about.
so
I
perfect. So
think, yeah.
you were able to witness obviously college ball before NIL, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously transition to most of your career having that possibility availability. Can
Yeah.
you touch on how you think it has affected or changed the game from you guys' perspective? Not from the old
Yeah.
fans that think this and think that, but the guys actually in the locker room,
Mm-hmm.
actually getting a check from X, Y, and Z and doing events. Because to me, it's like you're not amateur players anymore. You have
Yeah.
requirements on the field just like a pro and off the field just like a pro. You got to be here,
Yeah.
you got to sign this, you got to make this event, market this, and everything like that. So to me, I love it because ultimately that's what we signed up for. You want to make it to the next level, so it's more realistic than it's ever been in my perspective.
Right.
But from your perspective,
For starters, I think, NIL at the collegiate level, I think it's diminishing the team aspect of football,
mhm,
on that level.
right?
Because, you have 18 to 22-year-olds who are, making, large amounts of, dollars. The responsibility that comes with that amount of dollars isn't being matched up with,
Hmm.
you understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
making this, but like, I guess like the maturity or how you're playing isn't meeting up to that. And, that just goes into like, a whole debacle between,
right. I can see that.
the team camaraderie, player to coach to player relationship. I just feel like, on the collegiate level, it's just diminishing, like the purity of the game.
Hmm.
Obviously, and obviously NFL is different, like, it's a job, like that's what's expected of you. Like, if you perform, you get paid. If you don't perform, you get cut, whatever the case may be. But I think on a collegiate level, like there's no getting cut. Like if you're getting paid
Right.
like X amount of dollars and like you're just not like cutting it, people on your team don't agree with that and like they can't cut you, like you're still gonna get that money because you're on the team. So I feel like it just divides.
Yeah.
I feel like it divides college football up a little bit, and it takes the focus away from team success and shifts it to individual success. That's just my spin on it because
Yeah.
on a collegiate level, I feel like when you have team success, the individual success comes. Like you
Yeah.
see teams like Alabama, you see teams like Georgia, any school that you can name, you could think of, name of who has won either their conference championships, national championships on the FBS or FCS level. You see that like the team buys in, like the entire team buys in. It's not really individualized.
Yeah.
So I just think that's the downfall or downside of NIL. But from a standpoint of athletes getting paid and us getting compensated based off of our performance, yes, I totally agree with that because we bring a lot of money and bring a lot of income to the university, and to get recognized for our production and what we bring to the university, it's definitely a blessing, and definitely something that I appreciate and that a lot of people appreciate. But I just think the downside of it is just it's moving away from team success and shifting into individual success. That's just my main problem with it. But other than that, it's cool to me.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. I mean, we all saw it with Nick Saban. Seems to be kind of the straw that broke the camel's back as far as him and college football. I don't think Saban retired. Just a quick sidebar. I think he might be done with college football because of X, Y,
Yeah.
and Z. But I could see him easily keep going. But we'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah, man, I can see that. I can see that easily. And one thing, me and my guy Hackenberg, Christian Hackenberg, always talk about. He always mentioned it is obviously we're four players getting paid, compensated for the reasons you just said. Universities making buco bucks of on the players, right? But the way the NCAA necessarily unrolled this NIL, they just opened it up for the floodgates where it's a wild wild west, as people say. So
Right.
with slight regulations and maybe some more structure, I think it could help that aspect of team ball. Where I don't know what that looks like, but I can see where that comes in. And I know you touched on it, the buy-in on the championship teams. It's such a corny term. Everyone's like, oh, you got to buy in, and all the other terms and quotes you may say, but it's so
Yeah.
true. It is the truest
Mhm.
thing I've ever experienced in my sporting days, no matter what sport it was and what level. Little league, basketball, soccer. My most successful years playing football, that was the case. Everyone was on the same page. And obviously there's little hiccups here and there, but when the cohesiveness is so strong, you're
Yeah.
able to bounce that off the armor, and the train keeps moving on the tracks. But
Hmm.
so I can see how, the individualism of what NIL could bring on from certain players. And it always sucks when it's the best players or the leaders or the more talented players, because you need those guys
Yeah.
dang near. I mean, you need everyone just as much as you need anyone, but you dang for sure need, the different talented guys. So I
Right.
can see that. And I mean, yeah, it's on your shoulders as a leader,
Hmm.
to, like we said, galvanize, keep the things together, because it ain't going nowhere. It's going to be here
Right.
forever. So it's going to take guys like you and any other players that hopefully listen to this from high school level, college, even in the pros, because being a leader, from my experience, is just about knowing people, no matter any industry you're in, is how can you effectively communicate to this team, to these people.
Right.
And with that said, that was my thing was always, I'm going to treat everyone differently based off my relationship with them. That's how I lead. Some guys
Hmm.
may need some yelling, some rah rah in your face. Some guys I might need to go walk up to their dorm and like, yo, let's rap real quick. What's
Right.
what's your what's your leadership style? What do you think you bring to the table as a leader?
Yeah. It's just similar to you. I think um, being a leader, the most important quality you need to have is understanding and knowing your personnel. Um, understanding who you're taking the field with. Who you're around. Like, you gotta understand because like just for example, I can't talk to you, Bill, how I talk to Ish. It's a difference. Like y'all think and communicate in a different way.
Yep.
So it's more so spending time with them to build that relationship to understand. Okay, like when X teammate has a bad play, this is how he reacts, or this is how this is what his body language shows. When he has a good play, this is how his body language shows. So in times of bad, I need to approach him this way. In times of good, I need to approach him this way. So it's all about paying attention. I think people see leadership as being bossy.
Right.
Like a boss will say, okay, go do this. A leader's gonna say, okay, let's do this. Like let's
Mm,
collectively, what I'm saying, do this. So I think that just how I lead is really, simple. Like just learn who you're around, learn who you are, learn who you're with. Like I use, my teammates, for example, Bo Braid, Dante Trader, the two safeties that I play with.
yep.
Like, Bo, he's just very, sporadic. Like that's my guy, but he's just everywhere sometimes.
Mm,
So, you know, anytime I got to communicate with him, like on the field, like I'm yelling at him, I'm like, bro, like, no, we can't do that. Like, I'm going, I'm going. And
right.
he responds to that. He, shakes back. But Dante, on the other hand, like, it's times where, like, if he's trying to talk to me or I'm trying to talk to him, we just won't talk to each other. Like, it was a practice one time. He was trying to correct me on something. I just put my hand up and just kept walking, But, like, that's how we communicate. Like,
Right.
if you're telling me something and I'm not saying nothing, all right, bro, I'm gonna just talk to him later. Like he got to think about it, go through it, whatever. And that's how we communicate. So you just gotta understand personnel. You got to understand what makes, people tick, what sets them back, what triggers them, what doesn't trigger them. And it's all about paying attention. You can't just blindlessly or aimlessly lead. You
Right,
got to really
right.
understand like who you're with and who you're around. So that's how I approach leadership. And I think, that's just that's just, why I'm very successful at just building relationships, because I understand, or I take the time to understand people. So
Yeah, love that. And I know obviously I'm helping in your corner with Axe Sports, but building your brand off the field, what are some of the things that you're into? Let the people know what you want to be into, even if you're not necessarily there yet. And because I think that's big, it's tough, obviously. It's football, 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 whatever sport you're in, it's that. But as a guy that's outside of it, 10 years, dang near 10 years later, you also got to build yourself, your brand, or whatever it may be you want to call it, outside of the respective sport. And I believe you're able to do so. It may not obviously get as much attention as the main thing. The main thing's still the main thing, but
right.
chipping in 5% here, hour here, whatever it may be, onto the things outside of sports. That's what I love about you young guys now, because you aren't shy about it. When I was kind of in school, it was like, oh, do I want to be the funny guy? Do I want to be the TV guy? I love that. So let the people know what you're into.
Yeah, I'm into a lot of things, man. I think, creativity is my strong suit. I just love being creative with a lot of things that I do. I write poetry. Uh, I want to get into like TV when my playing career is over. Like that, sports analyst, acting, things of that nature. Definitely big on, just movies and like short films. I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
So I just think, showing my personality um, outside of the football field is, just, one of the things I'm very passionate about, because I show a lot of personality on the field. And just, I feel like that'll be an easy transition, taking it off the field,
Yeah.
whether that's, taking acting classes, or like, just recording poems and posting them, which I do. So, yeah. And it's fun, because,
Right.
nowadays, I think just having an image beyond playing football is, very important. So I just try or I don't try, I do take that into account every day, and I make the most of it. So
Yes, sir. Need more of that. Going into your last year of college ball, I know you're involved in a lot of things, like you said, getting into those poetry and film, as you said, but in the community as well. What is the sense of pride in being active in your community, whether it's University City in Maryland or back home, Fort Lauderdale, Florida?
yeah, I think giving back to the community is just important, man. Because a lot was given to me when I was growing up and when I was coming up. So I think it's just my duty to be able to give back to the younger generation coming up, because a lot of those younger individuals don't have people to either look up to or people to give back to them.
Right.
Whether that's resources, and resources could be either tangible, they could be mental resources, or actual physical tangible resources. Like I said, and a lot of people don't have the opportunity to receive any of that. So just being in the position that I'm in, I just feel like it's my duty to be able to give back and help improve the next generation and help improve someone's career, someone's life, if I have the opportunity to. Because I think that's just my purpose on this earth, not only to play a sport and be good at it, but to help inspire someone else while doing it and help someone else while doing it. So
Amen. And I know I've talked to you about it, but also just get more involved on campus. Um, whatever it may be, shaking hands with whoever it may be, because it can go a long way. You never know. And to kind of wrap this whole thing up, 2024 goals. What are some of Ruben's 2024 goals on the field, off the field, outside, branding, career, everything we just said? Any hard goals you are willing to share with us?
yeah, so goals on the field. I want to make second team All Big Ten. I made third team this past season, so I just want to continue to up their rank on that. Off the field, I want to definitely just continue to build relationships, build at least 5 more relationships with someone, or with people of influence, people of just high influence, whether that's community outreach, whether that's mentorship, like just build, continue to build that off the field. And then life goals in general. I just want to be able to be in a position, to get drafted in the first 3 or 4 rounds, around this time next year.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what I'm aiming for. Those are my targets. And, it's in God's hands at the end of the day, but I understand that I have some say so in that as well, as far as how I work and how I, produce and show up every day. So, it's all God's timing, but I definitely have some work to do as well if I want to achieve those things. So,
Amen. No, starts with a goal though. You'll achieve it, no doubt. And that'll wrap up this episode of the Axe Sports Podcast. You can find Ruben at Ruben Knows. You can find myself at @__B Bell. Make sure you follow Axe Sports Group, rebranding Axe Sports Group. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe. Axe Sports Podcast on YouTube. Ruben, anything you want to plug before we go?
My poem page on Instagram, Ruben.writes. Shout out One Speed Podcast, One Speed ENT on Instagram, on Twitter, One Speed Podcast on YouTube. And then I also have a personal podcast, Some Different Podcast with a K. So you can find it on Instagram. I'll be doing, things soon on there. Just a lot of things, a lot of motion going on, especially this year. So
you got to create your own motion.
We're going to keep up on everything. We're going to just continue to produce everything for y'all. And it's going to be a great year. So, just excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. And that'll do it for the Axe Sports Podcast. Once again, check us out. Stay tuned. Thank you.